So, what in the world does a heavy barbell have to do with ancient philosophy? Well, it turns out a whole lot more than you might think. Today, we're going to explore how the discipline you learn from the bench press can actually be a powerful tool for strengthening your mind. Let's dive in.
You know the scene. You walk into any gym, anywhere on the planet, and there it is, right in the center of everything, the bench press rack. It's more than just a piece of equipment, isn't it? For so many people, it's kind of like a throne, where you test yourself and you measure your progress.
And this is the question that defines everything. As the legendary strength coach Bill Starr pointed out, this one simple question has become the universal yardstick for strength. It completely knocked the old benchmark, the overhead press, right off its pedestal. It's the first thing people ask to size you up. The king of lifts. So how did the bench press become the undisputed king of the gym? Well, a couple of big things happened. First, the sport of powerlifting really took off, and the bench became one of its 3 core lifts. Then, in 1972, the Olympic Committee dropped the overhead press, which was a huge deal. And almost overnight, coaches everywhere, especially in football, started using the bench as their main test for upper body power.
And you know what? Modern science totally backs this up. The barbell bench press is considered the absolute gold standard for building chest muscle, or what scientists call pectoral hypertrophy. Why? It's pretty simple, really. It lets you consistently add more and more weight over time. That's progressive overload. And it fires up a massive number of muscle fibers in your chest, your shoulders, and your triceps.
Science of the bench. Okay, so if we're trying to build that muscle, what does the science actually say is the best way to do it? Should we be focused on high volume, more reps, or high intensity, just lifting the heaviest weight possible?
Okay, now check this out, because this is fascinating. A study from the University of Bologna looked at this exact question, and they found that a high-volume approach, so more reps with a moderate weight, led to a massive 23.8% increase in chest muscle thickness. And the high-intensity heavyweight group, they only saw a 4.4% increase. But, and this is a big but, the high-volume group also experienced way more fatigue.
And that brings up a really important question. I mean, chasing those gains and putting up bigger numbers is great, but is that the only thing that matters? Because if we get too obsessed with the what, it's so easy to forget about the how.
And that price can be really steep. Like Bill Starr warned, that pressure to lift more weight often pushes people to cheat their form. You see it all the time, right? People arching their backs like crazy, bouncing the bar off their chest, and that puts your wrists, your elbows, and especially your shoulders at serious risk for a nasty injury.
Just look at this one little detail, the grip. On the left, you've got what's called the false grip. The thumb is on the same side as the fingers. It's incredibly dangerous. One tiny slip and that heavy bar is coming right down on you. But on the right, you have the secure grip, with the thumb wrapped around the bar. That gives you total control, total safety. So it makes you wonder, why on earth would anyone choose the dangerous path?
Mind over muscle. And that question, that gets us to the real heart of the matter. This is about the battle between your reason and your ego. Because the real challenge of the bench press isn't just physical, it's a mental fight. It's the battle between your logical brain, which knows that proper form is safer and better in the long run, and your ego, which just wants to lift the heaviest weight possible right now, no matter what it costs.
And this internal fight, this is exactly where our modern trip to the gym connects with ancient philosophy. This isn't a new problem. This is a human problem, one that thinkers have been trying to figure out for thousands of years.
The ancient Stoics actually had a name for these overwhelming urges. They called them passions. But to them, passions weren't just feelings you couldn't control. A passion was an error in judgment. It's a moment when an impulse gets so big, so excessive, that it completely disobeys your own reason. Sounds a lot like choosing bad form just to put another plate on the bar, doesn't it?
Strength training for the soul. I love that. One of the great Stoic philosophers, a guy named Chrysippus, he wrote about this very idea in his work on passions. He basically treated the mind like a body that you could train. He argued that just like you can use medicine to heal a sick body, you could use a kind of therapy to heal a mind that makes these kinds of errors in judgment.
And Chrysippus had this brilliant analogy to explain how it all happens. He compared a mind that's in the grip of a passion to a runner who starts sprinting so fast that their legs just get away from them. Here's how it works. First, an external thing creates a judgment in your mind. Second, that judgment sparks an excessive impulse. Third, that impulse just steamrolls your reason. And finally, just like that runaway runner, your mind can't just slam on the brakes. It's out of your control.
And here is the direct parallel. It's uncanny. In the gym,
The sight of a heavy weight on the bar creates that judgment. I must lift that, no matter what. In your mind, some external event, like an insult, creates a judgment. I must react with anger. The impulse is the same. The mechanism is identical.
The perfect rep. So that brings us to the solution, and it's a physical answer to a mental problem. See, if the way we fail is the same in both cases, then the solution has to be the same too. So what if we started approaching every challenge, mental or physical, with the discipline of one perfect repetition?
Just think about it. A perfect rep demands that you set a solid foundation. Your feet are planted, your back is stable. That's like grounding yourself in reason before you act. You have to control the entire movement, up and down, not just letting gravity or momentum take over. That's just like you controlling an impulse. You pause at the bottom, you don't bounce the weight. That pause is your moment of reflection before reacting. And finally, you drive with intent, not ego. A clean, powerful push that comes from true strength, not some sloppy, desperate effort just to feed a momentary urge.
When you start to see it like this, the gym becomes a laboratory for your life. The discipline it takes to perform a perfect, controlled lift with a weight you can truly handle is the exact same discipline it takes to respond to life's challenges with reason and with calm.
So the next time you're lying under that bar, I want you to think about this. The number on those plates, it's temporary. It will be forgotten. But the self-control, the patience, the victory over your own ego, that is the strength you carry with you long after you've left the gym. So you have to ask yourself, what are you really training for?